After Mashiach comes, every soul will come back into its body. That's the ultimate perfection of the world. Souls don't stay in heaven forever. They come back to earth for a very simple reason. The reward that the soul receives in heaven is for the mitzvahs it performed while it was on earth. Question: do you believe in heaven and hell? I said, of course. When the soul leaves the body, it goes back to where souls come from. Now, a soul that comes back to the world of souls, and it still looks like a soul, and it still smells like a soul, well, it just picks up where it left off, and it fits right in, and it's paradise. But a soul comes back after 100 years on earth, and it kind of smells like a body, not like a soul. It's got an earthy smell to it. Well, that's very embarrassing, and that's hell. The burning of hell is the burning with shame, not a physical fire. A soul is ashamed because it doesn't smell like a soul. And so it goes through hell until that smell wears off. Then it's in paradise. And that smell can only last up to a maximum of 12 months. That's why we say Kaddish for 11 months. Because why do you think my relative needed the whole 12 months? So we say for 11 months, just in case. But we don't want to make it look bad and say the whole 12 months. So we say for 11 months out of respect for the soul. And to believe that hell goes on forever is not kosher, it's not allowed, it's idolatry. Because evil cannot go on forever. Only good is eternal, not evil. Now, of course, this is not what they're taught, and this is not what they believe, but they're very glad to hear it. Because eternal damnation is a very painful, difficult concept. So nobody objected. They went on to the next question. And these Jewish women are sitting around and saying, wait a minute, why don't they argue? Next question. Do you believe in the resurrection? I said, of course. After Mashiach comes, every soul will come back into its body. That's the ultimate perfection of the world. Souls don't stay in heaven forever. They come back to earth for a very simple reason. The reward that the soul receives in heaven is for the mitzvahs it performed while it was on earth. Right? But to perform a mitzvah, you have to have a body. So the soul could not perform the mitzvah without the body. So why is it getting all the reward? Does that make sense? To be rewarded properly, the body has to share in the reward, because the body shared in the mitzvah. And that's why ultimately the true reward is when the soul comes back into the body and together they are rewarded with a perfect world. This is not what they're taught. But nobody objected. Next question. Do you believe in Satan? I said, of course. Satan is an angel. An angel means a messenger. A messenger has no agenda of his own. He's an angel. He does what God tells him to do, and that's all he cares about, and that's all he knows. To do what God told him to do. Unfortunately, Satan gets to do all the dirty work. Gets all the dirty jobs. But to think that Satan has some kind of an agenda and he's at war with God, that's Greek mythology. You're not allowed to believe that. No objections. Next question. Do you believe in the Messiah? I said, of course. Mashiach is a descendant of King David. He will inspire the world, bring peace to the world. But it's not a matter of believing. Just to believe that someday there will be a Messiah. The sooner we get back to keeping all the commandments, the sooner he will come. Of course, this is not what they're told. But a guy raises his hand, that's sitting right in front of me, a minister, raises his hand, and he says, is there anything we can do to help? This girl who was on her way to Omaha, who was on her way to Utah, she had been sitting at the edge of her seat, literally, physically. When this guy said, is there anything we can do to help? She leaned forward a little bit and the chair toppled over. Literally, she fell out of her chair. The session was over and she comes over to me and she says, I'm not going to Utah. What's the point? They'll bring me here for an afternoon to find out what I might as well stay here. Do we believe in resurrection? It's not a matter of belief. Just like life continues logically and necessarily because a living thing can't die, the same is true with resurrection. It's necessary morally to assume that the body will be rewarded with the soul. So it's not just a matter of believing in some strange event that's going to happen. It's part of our morality. You don't reward the soul without the body if it couldn't do the mitzvah without the body. And since God is just, how could he not reward the body? So if we don't believe in resurrection, then we're basically saying that God is not just, that there is no justice. The body deserves a reward. In fact, the body deserves more of a reward than a soul, because a soul is a godly thing. It loves doing mitzvahs. So why does it deserve such a reward? It's only doing what it loves. But the body hates doing mitzvahs. Body hates doing anything. So when a body does a mitzvah, it really deserves a reward. And to not reward the body, that's just not nice. And God is nice. And so we believe in the resurrection of every Jewish soul and every righteous Gentile because it's only right. It wouldn't be right any other way. Now, the process of birth and death is explained very, very graphically in Torah and in Kabbalah. By the way, Kabbalah, I mean real Kabbalah, not the stuff Madonna dabbles in. Real Kabbalah is simply a section of Torah. Only it's the mystical section. So in the Torah it says that birth and death come in stages. They don't happen suddenly. How does birth happen? 40 days before conception, the angel announces that there's going to be a conception and a birth. It announces how long this soul is going to be in the body. It announces the type of life it's going to have. It announces who you're going to marry. That's before you're conceived. You're already married. Then it's just a question of finding him. or her. That is the beginning of the birth process. Here's a very interesting thing. If you look in the stories in the Torah, like for example, the birth of Isaac, the angel came to Sarah and said, "This time next year, you will have a son." The obvious question is, it doesn't take a year. Why is it always this time next year? 9 months, that's all it takes. It doesn't. The pregnancy takes 9 months. But before conception, the soul has to get used to the idea that it's going to come down into a body, into this world, and it has to adjust. It needs a little time to orient itself. It would be too shocking for conception to happen without warning. So it literally does take 12 months for a soul to be born. So we've all been here before. We're old hands at this. So when the resurrection happens, which body is our soul going to come back to? Some suggest that you get to pick the best parts of each body. Like a Mr. Potato Head, you can kind of... Every body did a mitzvah, so every body has to be rewarded. So which body will the soul come back into? All of them. They were all good. A soul can have more than one body. One soul can give life to many bodies.
We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal, it's questions and answers, it's conversation. It's really relaxed, it's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us, take a look, click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.